guys, what's up? It's Vanessa. I am doing my September wrap up. If you haven't already, go ahead and hit subscribe real quick. It helps me out so much. I didn't read as many books this month because school started and it's been wild, but I'm so proud of myself for the books that I did read. Oh my God, do y'all hear my dog crying? I gotta let him out. I think I read 6 or 7 books this month. I'm gonna put them in order of my least favorite to my absolute favorite because I do have a new favorite book, a 5-star read that I'm so excited to talk about. So let's go ahead and get started. The first book I read this month is actually my least favorite book. I'm in a book club with some of the English teachers at my high school, and they tend to pick books that I normally would not read. So I really enjoy being a part of it because it kind of like forces me to read something outside of my comfort zone. And I haven't absolutely loved any of the picks yet, but I still do like them. So my least favorite book this month is called Something to Live For by Richard Roeper. I'll insert picture. And it was actually previously called How Not to Die Alone. And I started this book off relating 1000% to our main character. I don't remember his name because I don't remember anybody's name. But it's a story about a guy who has a really interesting job. He works for the city and they handle like deaths that are reported to like police or the city. So pretty much his job is to go into people's houses after they've died and find some information that's going to lead them to like next of kin so they can figure out how to like wrap up all the loose ends. So that was intriguing. This guy is completely socially awkward, and the book takes off because we start with his job interview to get this job, and he tells a little white lie that he has a wife and 2 kids, and then he gets hired on, so he has to like continue the lie forever and ever. We're following him. Oh my God, I'm Frizzy McGuire right now. It's okay. We're following him, and the book was so good. I was relating, and then something happens, and it was awful, and it ruined the entire book for me because I didn't see it coming, and apparently it was like an obvious thing that was gonna happen, and other people in the book club who read the book didn't think it was that big of a deal, but it was like a deal breaker for me. It put me in a like actual, not even just reading slump, but like a personal slump for days. Like I had book hangover from this book. It made me depressed is what happened. So that's why it's my least favorite. It could have been great. Actually, I don't think it could have been great because I don't know how else we were gonna solve whatever was gonna happen. Pretty cool concept, but it just like derailed itself for me. Moving on. The next one on my list, I feel like about it, but it is Mexican Gothic by Silvia Moreno-Garcia. I love so much about this book. It's beautifully written. Like reading this book, I wish it wasn't horror, because if this was anything else, like if I had this kind of description of setting or writing or just information in another book that was not horror, I feel like this would have been like a 5-star read. In this book, we follow 2 cousins, Noemi and Catalina. Catalina is newly married. She has moved in with her husband. Weird stuff starts happening. She gets very ill. She writes to Noemi and tells her that she thinks her husband is poisoning her. So Noemi goes to this house to find out what's going on. The house itself has very like spooky vibes, which really drew me in, but it was disgusting in my opinion, which is good for some people. I feel like some people would really like this. If you're into like gross stuff, which I'm not, I think you would love this. I just didn't personally, because I don't like horror, but I keep trying to read it and it's a problem, so I'm gonna stop. The next book, I actually stumbled upon it on accident. I was trying to find the audiobook for Anxious People on my Libby app, which by the way was my book of the month pick along with Mexican Gothic last month, but I didn't read Anxious People because I'm such a mood reader and I couldn't get into it. I will put my link for book of the month down below. The next book I read was Love Poems for Anxious People by John Kennedy. Again, I stumbled upon this as an accident. It's actually a collection of poems, and I listened to it on audio. And I just don't know if poems are supposed to be listened to on audio or they're supposed to be read. But this was narrated by the author, which I love when audiobooks are narrated by the author, because then it's like you really get the experience. These collections of poems were not good to follow the Something to Live For, because I was already in a funk, depression state, and then these were not about love. They're not even love poems. It's just a bunch of collection of poems about our author being socially awkward, which I really liked. I actually really liked it. It was really funny. But yeah, I loved it. But it wasn't like a 5-star read for me. But I did love it. So check it out. It was really short. The audio was like a couple of hours, like 3 or 4 hours. I enjoyed it. But yeah, moving on. Oh, this next book that I read is You Had Me At Ola by Alexis, Daria. And I liked it. I did. It was very steamy, almost too steamy, like it was uncomfortably steamy. But I think my biggest issue with it was the age gap. Not that I even think the age gap was huge. So this book follows 2 people who are starring in a new TV show together. One of them is coming, the male is coming from telenovelas, and the woman is coming from like soap opera. I don't think they ever say their age, and if they do, I'm so bad at details, so I don't know. But in my mind, she's like, 20 to 25, like that's what I thought. And then the guy is saying that he's trying to make the crossover from like telenovelas to like the big screen or something on TV, because he's hitting that age where he's too old and he's not going to be able to be like a leading man anymore. So I'm like, how old is he? I kept picturing an old man. So then whenever there was these steamy scenes, I was like, she's a young girl and he's an old man. And it like threw me off and I didn't like it. The next book, They Both Die at the End by Silvera. This book I talked about in a 3-book review video for the first 3 books that I read for Latin Hispanic Heritage Month. So I won't go too deep into it, but we follow these 2 guys. It's dual perspective, and in their world, there's something that calls you on the day that you're going to die, and they just kind of tell you like, hey, you're gonna die today, so live your last day to the fullest. And then we just kind of follow both of them on their last day. And it made me cry. And I loved it. So there's that. Next is The Worst Best Man by Sosa. And this was my second favorite book of the month. And I did say in that book review video that I gave it 4 out of 5 stars. And I don't know, like maybe I give it 5 out of 5 stars because I'm still thinking about it. I really loved it. I feel like my criteria for giving a book 5 stars is like, it has to make me cry or feel some kind of emotion, like really sad, really happy, really scared, really something like it. I want books to captivate me, and that will make me give them 5 stars. And at the time, like, I don't think I felt anything for this book, but thinking back onto it, like, it made me so happy. It was such a fun read to read The Worst Best Man by Sosa. And I feel like given the chance, I'd read it again. So we follow our main character. I don't remember her name. Lena? Yeah, Carolina. Yeah, we follow Lena, and her story is that at the beginning of the book, in the prologue, she's about to marry this man, Andrew, I think is his name. They're gonna get married, it's their wedding day, and then Andrew calls off the wedding, and the way he does it is by telling Max, his younger brother, to deliver the news, and he just like poof disappears. So it starts off where she's like really upset, things are happening, and then we move on into the future, and all 3 of them cross paths again because of a job situation, and it's the story. And I liked it. I really liked it. You should check it out. If you're in the mood for a fun, easy romance to read by a Latin or Hispanic author, check it out. Okay. And then my all-time favorite book this month, which now I feel like this is my new favorite author in general. Whoops. I read With the Fire on High by Elizabeth Acevedo, and I love Elizabeth Acevedo so much, and this book has been on my bookshelf since my birthday. I bought it for my birthday, and I am so mad that I waited so long to read it. Everybody needs to drop what they're doing and go pick up some Elizabeth Acevedo book, like today, right now. I plan in the future, I think there's only one of her books that I haven't read. I'm gonna read it, and I'm gonna make a video dedicated solely on Elizabeth Acevedo because she is my new favorite. So it follows Imani. She is a senior in high school, and her freshman year, she had a baby. I'm a high school teacher, so I see little pregnant girls like walking around high school, and I just want to give them this book and tell them to read it because it really is about like persevering and like fighting for your dreams and doing what you love even when the whole world is against you because of one thing. So Imani is a senior in high school. She wants to be a chef. She's really into cooking, and her high school opens up a new culinary program, but a lot of things going on in her life, and she's just trying to get through it. I feel like when I read this book, it was so emotional for me. Like I could just feel the little tears the whole time. Just so many things in it just touched my heart, and I loved it, and it was my favorite. But yeah, check it out. 5-star read for sure. Check out anything Elizabeth Acevedo. That is my wrap up. I don't know if I said this or not, but my name's Vanessa. Thanks so much for watching.